would say is a takeaway there with the learning curve, and I'm going to bridge that right into people because I think it applies with retaining people too, is if you're willing to, when you go through those downfalls, you get through the learning curve. People are willing to get through the learning curve. They have a good attitude, they're in line with your culture, and they're showing that they're doing things not to repeat the mistakes of the learning curve or to do better after they get through it. Then I think from a client side to a contractor, you definitely want to keep them. But I would also
Mhm.
bridge that to the people conversation of, if you're leading people, same thing. There's a learning curve in every job. But if people have shown they've gone through the learning curve, they've owned they have a good attitude, they're trying, they're in line with your culture, and they've owned their mistakes and are saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do to adjust in the future. I'll use an example of mine when I was a recruiter, dispatcher, project manager in snow. My first winter I had wasn't really big. My second one was really big, and it was winter of COVID 2020. So that was one that
Sure.
started December. So it was first
Tough
storm.
year to start.
Yeah. So first year, or first storm that people go out, we were a little behind on getting everybody through like run throughs. We had some issues on sites, and we ended up losing a site. And when we did, our owner kind of blew it off as like, whatever, I know why we lost it. And I pushed it a little further with my team. I'm like, guys, I'd like to get together with y'all because I need to understand what I could have done better. And I think we need to understand, since we're working together, what we could do. So we came together as
Mhm.
a team and we all said, hey, what happened? First of all, what were their reasons for cancellation? And let's each of us walk through, were there things that we dropped the ball on? And I know for me, mine was, I didn't have a solid process together for training and walkthroughs, and timing wise, I hadn't pushed things as far. I'd pushed things on the hiring side, but not the training side as far as I should have. So the next year, that was a goal of mine, is 100% before we go. And the next year we did get to that point and we did see less issues. So I share that, not to pat myself on the back, but to kind of give that
Mhm.
as a framework to owners out there, that if you see people that are willing to sit down and review those issues, which you should be doing post storm, reviews every chance you get. Obviously, sometimes you have back to backs, maybe it's a couple storms in a row, but you want to nip those issues in the bud, because there were times, even as a team, we didn't have that in place, and we started putting that in place later on down the season. But I'm thinking we also could have caught some of that early. Like if they were upset, saying, hey, look, what do we have to rectify before we lose this contract? But I think the
Mhm.
people side, I share all that to share that if people are willing to go through that learning curve, get better, then they're people you want to keep, because they're going to be greatly appreciating assets to you.